Hello, everybody. Welcome to the latest ATTA webinar. Thank you for joining in today. We will be starting shortly. We're just going to wait for others to join the room and then we'll start. While we're waiting, please do well to let us know through the chat function where in the world you're joining us from. Our webinars do attract a global audience, so it will be great to know where you're joining in from today. Hello, Alice. We have Alice from the UK, Anais from Switzerland, Estelle from South Africa, Ronelle from South Africa, Valerie from France. That's a global audience already. Mink from Netherlands. Wow. Welcome everyone to the latest ATTA webinar. I'm broadcasting live from our office in London, and we have a very lovely weather today. Quite chilly. To those of you just joining us, welcome. On today's webinar, we will be exploring the extraordinary, unique selection of opulent lodges and hotels in South Africa and Victoria Falls. The Extraordinary Group provides one-of-a-kind experiences ranging from Cape Town to the Kruger National Park and from the Waterberg reserves to one of the Victoria Falls 7 natural wonders. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the insights coming your way. Just a few housekeeping before we start. The webinar is being recorded, so no need to worry if you miss out on anything. This will be made available shortly after the live session. And then after the session, we would have an opportunity for Q&A. So just take down whatever questions you have and pop that into the Q&A box just at the bottom of your screen. And they'll all be directed to the presenter at the end of this session. Today, we are delighted to be joined by Cindy Walker, who is the founder and now heading strategy for the Extraordinary Group. Cindy holds an MBA from the University of East London and has been in the travel and tourism industry since 1997. I'm sure I was a baby then. Cindy's strongly built network worldwide has enabled her to launch many new lodges and hotels successfully during her career. Cindy, it's such a pleasure to have you with us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Blessing. What a wonderful introduction, and how awesome to see so many old friends. I won't say old, friends and participants, people that have walked all this long journey with me on this call today. So thank you so much for joining Extraordinary and myself. I'm delighted to be able to go through the portfolio and chat to so many of you at the same time. So Extraordinary has been sorry, just give me 1 second.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry, it looks like it's not moving. The presentation's not moving. It was moving. There we go. Perfect.
Yeah.
Excellent. Sorry, I just want to move on to the right. I'm starting off with the best view possible. I'm actually speaking to you all from the Mabula Private Game Reserve in the Waterberg area of South Africa today, and I've just had the pleasure of actually coming back from a safari. That's why I'm still dressed in my safari t-shirt, and it was a really great start to the day. So without any further ado, I'll jump into a map of Southern Africa and just give you a quick overview of where we are located. So as Blessing so aptly described, we're located from Cape Town to the Waterberg, through to the Kruger National Park, and then into Victoria Falls. Perfect destinations to connect on so many itineraries with the fabulous Airlink, with FastJet, who we work with very closely, but connecting very effectively these main destinations that so often form the core of every itinerary to Southern Africa. So I'm going to start off in Cape Town, one of my favorite cities in the world, and just to give you a little layout, we are located in Tamboerskloof, which is right below Lion's Head and very close to Table Mountain itself, in the heart of Cape Town. It's a beautiful area. It is a really affluent little residential area of Cape Town, but literally within 2 blocks into the city, and 1 or half a block from Kloof Street, where we've got all the fabulous restaurants and shops and so forth. So it really is located in a wonderful area. And the Cape Milner has actually, well, I've worked with the Cape Milner since about 2002, and it's had a transformation many times over, but probably the latest transformations are the most effective, where we've completely rebuilt our outdoor decking area. We've got a beautiful reception area, which is completely upgraded. And we pride ourselves very much at the Cape Milner on being a boutique property that only has 57 rooms in totality and offers a full guest experience with all services available at the property. It also has a natural formation of a courtyard on the inside of it, which really is wonderful for those windy Cape Town days and provides the most exquisite view of Table Mountain. 3 different room categories catered to all guest types, from a suite through to our luxury rooms, and then our standard mountain facing and Lion's Head facing rooms as well. Of course, being in Tamboerskloof means that we perfectly positioned, literally a 2-kilometer or 5-minute transfer down to the waterfront, across into Camps Bay, literally 10 minutes over Kloof Neck, and probably 2 minutes from the cable car up to Table Mountain. So if you saw the first picture, you would have seen then jumping on a plane, traveling up into the safari areas. And I'm going to start off with our private concession, which we have operated since 2002 inside the Kruger National Park. And that you'll see on our map here with our light green color. We have Hamilton's Tented Camp, Mbali Safari Lodge, and Hoya Hoya Safari Lodge. The closest Kruger gate is Open Gate, but obviously down closer to Skukuza, you have the Paul Kruger or Pabeni gates as well. My recommendation is always to fly into Skukuza Airport, because your transfer up into the camps would automatically be inside the park and would constitute a safari in their own. The concession hugs the Manyeleti Game Reserves and the Sabi Sands Game Reserve as well. So you have got a fabulous location as far as game viewing goes. And this concession area is 10,000 hectares. That is 100 square kilometers, where we are allowed to conduct walking safaris, off-road driving, as well as obviously our own road network, which is very extensive, almost 80 kilometers of road network in this concession area as well. Question I get asked often is, how far apart are the 3 camps? They are between 8 and 15 kilometers away from each other. So heading off into Hamilton's, this is a out of Africa styled tented camp in one of the most beautiful locations that you can possibly imagine in the Kruger. It's completely unfenced and offers a wonderful location as far as game viewing goes. You can imagine with this huge amount of water, we have hippos, we have ellies bathing. We recently did a major upgrade of Hamilton's, which included building additional deck space, additional dining space, and also adding private plunge pools into the 6 luxury tented camp tents that we have in the camp. This is just a picture that I couldn't resist including. This is one of the local leopard that we're quite used to, who's actually having his breakfast while some German guests were having their breakfast on the deck below. And the tents themselves are octagonal in shape. They are approximately 75 square meters, and they are fully air conditioned, also obviously with a ceiling fan, beautiful slipper baths, gorgeous decks, private plunge pools. And I can't tell you, when I see it, my heart actually just races. I'm wanting to be sitting in that pool, watching a herd of ellies swimming in front of me, which, believe it or not, is pretty much a occurrence on a daily basis, especially at this time of year where things are warming up quite a lot. Each tent has its own private sala lounge area. It has a beautiful shower that has a view out onto the deck area as well. And the camp itself is an adult-only zone over 12s, so it remains a very exclusive, really personalized little camp. This is one of our dining setups that we've got, and a firm favorite of the Lion Pride that love to come and join us and lie next to the fire and constitute us moving our dinner indoors rather rapidly. But please do visit Hamilton's, join us there at some time. As I mentioned, about 13 kilometers away, we've got Mbali, which is the sister camp of Hamilton's. And Mbali is a 12-suite, more classic style thatched roof, private plunge pools, very comfortable environment. And our properties are very much sitting at the mid-range categories of experiences and pricing structures. We are seeing guests staying for longer time. We do have some wonderful initiatives with combining Cape Town together with our properties over here. And so many guests are as I said, staying on 4 nights, etc. And that has a lot to do with our competitive pricing initiative. The camps themselves are based on a very strong relationship that we have with the community, where the community, in fact, a women's group, own a significant portion of these properties. And therefore, it's in our interest to always ensure high occupancy. And this is one of the reasons that our concessioners actually always remain quite price competitive. Now, the third lodge in our collection is Hoya Hoya Safari Lodge, and Hoya Hoya means welcome in Shangaan, which is our local dialect, and again connects us to our neighbors and community that surround the Kruger National Park as well. And here we have a typical little hamlet or tent or camp that is only 6 rondavel shaped suites, completely unfenced, absolutely at one with nature, and extremely personalized. We have followed a Shangaan vernacular style with this theming, and therefore the camp remains quite authentic and very much blends into our surrounds. It was intentional that Extraordinary chose to keep our footprint extremely light in this concession, and it talks to the sustainable methods that were introduced back in 2002 in the concession contracts, to be able to ensure that there was a lot of sustainability at that stage, which was quite far ahead of its time already. So those are the 3 lodges that we are very proud to introduce in the Kruger National Park. And bear in mind that this is actually within the Kruger and not the greater Kruger area. Now I move on to our areas, which are the Waterberg areas. And these areas are as good safari areas. They are known as malaria-free areas. They give guests that have shorter itineraries easy access from Johannesburg and from OR Tambo. And I'll start off talking about our private game reserve called Mabula, which you can actually see on the map down at the bottom left-hand side, that is the Mabula Private Game Reserve, which is south of Welgevonden, which is our other position in the Welgevonden, in the Waterberg area. So I'm going to start off telling you about a fairly new camp that we introduced a few years ago. In fact, as COVID hit, Safari Plains started off, and Safari Plains is a tented luxury camp located within the Mabula Private Game Reserve. It has a wonderful Big Five cheetah, wild dog, wonderful species such as sable, recently introduced black rhino into the reserve, and Safari Plains offers guests at a 5-star level a beautiful tented environment that is extremely family friendly. So we can definitely accommodate kids of all ages at this camp. And it often is an alternative to traveling up into Pilansberg or traveling into the garden route areas because of the distance, the access, etc. We have a sister lodge in this reserve called Mabula Game Lodge, which has been around for many years. And bearing in mind this reserve now boasts 4 different properties, we have got a 12,500 hectare area, which has wonderful conservation programs, including cheetah metapopulation initiative. We're involved with EWT's wild dog relocation program, and we have got a wonderful world-renowned Mabula Ground Hornbill project, which has won awards as well. So the Mabula Game Lodge has got different types of accommodation. It is group orientated, it's incentive orientated, family orientated, and it may not necessarily be for your higher end customer, which tend to be more smaller lodges, but it's always good to have on board for groups. The Kingfisher Villa is our newest addition to the extraordinary group, and here we have introduced an exclusive use beautiful villa which was completely gutted and rebuilt last year and has created a fabulous, very luxurious, opulent 5-star environment for guests traveling as families, traveling as friends. It is a really beautiful setting overlooking the Mabula Dam, and it offers a private chef, private guide, private butlers, and you can actually enjoy a really wonderful stay with connecting with family members and friends. Further off into the reserve, approximately half an hour drive from Mabula Game Lodge itself, we have a really authentic little tented camp called Kwafabezi Tented Safari Camp. And Kwafabezi also experienced a fabulous makeover last year. We are only 5 little luxury tents. They are located in the middle of the reserve with a wonderful plain, attracting huge, believe it or not, huge herds of rhino. I actually saw 12 rhino together, and a really authentic space for guests to experience the bush, living in a tent and really in a small environment. So Kwafabezi is definitely something to keep your eye on. And if you're looking for slightly more rustic and slightly more authentic tented camp in a wonderful reserve with really good game viewing, that's great. I'd like to just mention in this reserve, we also have hot air balloons, we have quad biking safaris, we have horseback walking, and many conservation experiences available to groups and family groups as well. Now, I showed you earlier on the map where we have the Welgevonden Game Reserve, and I'm so excited that Welgevonden has taken off internationally and obviously has always been a firm favorite with South Africans. The Clifftop exclusive safari hideaway is located closest to the Eastern Gate, which is the closest access point of Welgevonden Game Reserve. We're also a very short 15-minute transfer, which means we collect your guest at your convenience at any time of the day. And each of our 8 perfect suites are located on the edge of the cliff, hence the name Clifftop. This is an award-winning, super luxurious, super romantic camp, and because of its being a malaria-free area, and recently having invested probably many, many millions of rand into wildlife, the game viewing experience in Welgevonden is truly on par with any of the other private game reserves in the Waterberg area or Madikwe area as well. We are an adult-only zone. It attracts a lot of honeymoon guests, romance guests, and the luxury of the pool and the location on the edge of the cliff naturally lend themselves to couples and to guests that are traveling to really escape into a romantic world. Now we move on into one of my favorite destinations, the Victoria Falls, one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And I'm actually sitting down here in South Africa whilst the Africa Eden, which is part of the ATTA group as well, is happening as we speak in Zambia this year. And I believe after talking to my colleagues last night, everybody is having a fabulous, fabulous experience with Africa's Eden. So our properties, the Africa Albeda collection, have been around 30 years next year. We'll be celebrating our 30th, and it's a very well-known portfolio of lodges that we have up there. Extraordinary has enjoyed a long and very fruitful partnership with these guys, and they really do go the next level. As you know, so many new air access routes have opened up into Victoria Falls, and the occupancies are really, really attractive right now. In fact, yesterday we heard from Ross Kennedy, who has, many of you will know, who's the absolute legend of Victoria Falls, told us that we have just at our Victoria Falls estate had the highest occupancy in history, in our almost 30 years of history. The falls are gorgeous all year round, whether they be high or they be lower. They have got a magic of their own, and there's so much to offer. Specifically offering so many different activities. We always encourage guests to try and ensure that they have a minimum of a 3-night stay in Victoria Falls to give them an opportunity to experience as much of the falls as possible. There's a lot to see, possibly to go back to the falls more than once, taking river cruises, exploring some of the more high adrenaline sports and activities. It does make a big difference whether you're traveling during our green season, which is Jan to June, or a high season. It gets drier towards the end of the year, which means the game viewing opportunities are better. It's more beautiful during green season because of all the green trees and the higher levels of water, of course. And our Victoria Falls Safari Estate is located only 4 kilometers from the falls themselves. But the big selling point for us here is the fact that we're away from the village of Victoria Falls. So we do have that safari essence of an experience overlooking that famous waterhole, the Victoria Falls Safari Waterhole, which attracts so many guests for sundowners, whether they be staying with us or not. You can see the Zambezi River snaking down in the background in this image, and you can see the spray from the falls on the right-hand side of your screen. We do offer a complimentary shuttle which travels in and out of town on an hourly basis, and there's so much to do in Victoria Falls. Lots of new restaurants, lots of new experiences, lots of activities, as I mentioned earlier, and from golf to game viewing through to river rafting, and of course that all famous Flight of the Angels over the falls. Our Victoria Falls Safari Club is a beautiful luxury experience for guests that are wanting something slightly more intimate and slightly more upmarket, 5-star all the way. You've got incredible butlers that take care of every single want of our guest. We have a signature restaurant here, and every single one of our suites whether they be in the Safari Lodge or the Safari Club, have got their private balcony looking out onto this fabulous view. And that is what sets us apart from all of the other lodges in Victoria Falls. We do have the ability to look at that view, step out onto the space and watch elephant walking past literally almost below you as they go by. Beautiful bathrooms and a really great experience for couples and for families with kids over 10 years old. We do have interleading suites as well. We offer high tea. We offer canapes in the afternoon. Hot canapes with your cocktails are included. Your mini bars are included. So there's a great deal of value add that happens at Safari Club itself. And once you've looked at all of those, sometimes the upgrade between the two makes it worthwhile. A few years ago, Mr. Dave Glynn, who's our chairman, had come up with a wonderful concept of creating these villas, mini villas, and our safari suites were born, which you can see. Oh, sorry. Which you can see over here. So they can take on the form of almost being a little baby villa. It's got a little hospitality counter, and here you can stay in 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom wonderful spaces, which make traveling as a family wonderful. You've got this common area together. You can sit and have your breakfast here. In your PJs, if you like. And then obviously we have our gallery bedroom and our other 2 bedrooms or bedrooms en suite. The Victoria Falls Safari hospitality experience is so well known for hospitality encounters, and it really takes you to the next level. Now, recently, we've just undertaken a massive upgrade and facelift for the Victoria Falls Safari Lodge, which many of you have supported us over the last almost 30 years. I mention it again. And the recent upgrades have taken the property to another level. It's looking very chic. It still maintains that safari elegance that we've got, and it still obviously is almost a 7-story tree house linked by timber decks and timber walkways and commanding the most incredible view across the Zambezi National Park. Bear in mind that looking out over the Zambezi National Park, you've got the ability to see so many of the wildlife. In fact, it is 4 of the big 5 that reside in the Zambezi National Park. The new standard rooms at Victoria Falls Safari Lodge are really gorgeous. They're bright, they're colorful. I've got a lot more space than previously there because of the fact that they've redone the mosquito net design. They've changed the furniture around completely, new headboards, new lighting, new doors, new furniture, as I mentioned, and a completely redesigned, wonderful rain shower for those hot days in Vic Falls. Again, I mentioned each one has its own private balcony and allows you those spectacular views and sunsets, because the sunsets from Victoria Falls Safari Estate are legendary. And if you've never done one, you really have to make your way over there. We do offer one of our conservation experiences that we are part of and support wholly is the Worldwide International Vulture Conservation Initiative, and so we are also linked with the VAPU anti-poaching initiatives in Victoria Falls. And then we move on to our very well-known Boma for your evening of spectacular entertainment, dancing, live performances by a professional crew of performers who are employed year-round by our Victoria Falls Safari Estate. And you have over 100 different dishes, including exotics, but also a really great vegetarian selection. And the evening generally culminates with a drumming session where you have an incredible performance of drummers, and every guest gets a drum to be able to learn to play some basic melodies. Now, last year we launched our Safari Spa, which is a perfect destination spa. It's open to guests that are in Victoria Falls, so you don't have to be resident with any of our properties. And it offers a numerous treatment rooms, which are located in the gardens overlooking the spray of the falls when the spray is very high. We have couples treatment rooms, we have singles, we have a mani-pedi station, we have a health bar as well where you can do some snacks. So you can actually book a half-day session at the spa. You've got relaxation zones and beautiful pool areas as well. And the safari experience and wellness experience is really legendary. So that brings me to the end of the extraordinary collection of lodges and hotels in Southern Africa. And I'm now open to any questions, which I think Blessing is going to help me with.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you. Wonderful, wonderful presentation. Amazing properties. For a moment, I saw myself in South Africa.
Exactly. We're waiting
Yeah.
for you, Blessing. We're waiting for you.
It's truly amazing. Like I mentioned earlier, if you've got any questions, just pop that into the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we'll direct this to Cindy. We have one, which I think she's covered already, but we'll just take it for the sake of those who might have missed it. So it says, what sustainability practices are you going to be introducing in your hotels and lodges?
So the sustainability approach and way forward strategy is multifaceted when you have so many properties. So there's a huge amount that has happened over the last couple of years, from implementing plastic-free environments, water, solar installations. In Kruger, we, as I mentioned, follow very strict regimes with regards to conservation and of natural resources, and things such as reed beds. We've now moved forward into new grey water systems which are implemented. There's very strict policies of removing sort of oils, recycling in all of the properties. The safari lodges up in Victoria Falls have an initiative called Green Steps, which covers a vast variety of steps and initiatives that they have undertaken, from recycling to low flow shower systems. In fact, in South Africa, we do that as well. Looking towards reducing everything from lighting, as far as reduced impact on your power supply. So every property has a plan. Every property is creating or has created a sheet, or Mr. Crib sheet, which ticks the boxes of where they're at. And going forward, obviously, one of the big initiatives is to move as far as possible towards solar initiatives, towards the future of electric vehicles, towards ensuring that the land is very much taken care of. Our community initiatives as well, specifically around Kruger area, around the Mabula area, where we employ locally 95 or 96% of staff are coming within a 50-kilometer radius of our lodges. And so we really try to look after, we work closely together with schools, education programs, and so forth within the communities. We do everything from Pack for a Purpose across through to training and educational experiences for children coming into the lodges to experience wildlife and to understand the importance of protection of our wildlife areas.
Thank you so much, Cindy. We have one more question. It says, is alcohol served at Clifftop? I heard that they did not serve alcohol a few years ago.
Alcohol has always been served at Clifftop, so that has never been a problem. All beverages are included at Clifftop, with the exception of your premium brands. So premium brands are available, but they are charged for. So Clifftop is an all-inclusive lodge, and it has been since I've worked with them in 2007. So it's been many, many years that we've had it. Prior to that, I obviously can't speak for.
Okay, thank you so much, Cindy. We don't have any more questions, so I guess we've come to the end of the webinar today. It was nice having you with us. A beautifully delivered presentation. To our audience, thank you for joining us today. I hope you got value for your time spent, and please be on the lookout for ATTA emails. We've got a few more webinars lined up for this year. We have one tomorrow, so just be on the lookout for ATTA email so you can register for whichever you have interest in. Have a good one, everybody, and see you next time.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Bye. Thank you.